welcome to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I, of course, am Ant, your humble host. And this week we're taking a look at the newest Dream Theater re-release as the 40th anniversary celebration of their inception continues. They released volume 2 of their box set of albums. The first one came out several months back. Then they had the new album, Parasomnia, come out, and they've been on tour. I was fortunate enough to see them just a little over 2 months ago over at the Toyota Oakdale Theater in Wallingford, Connecticut, for those of you here on the East Coast in the United States. And for those of you abroad, it's, just across the pond. So anyhow, so what we're looking at the new box set. It basically covers a couple of the albums, or 4 of the albums on this tour shirt. We ended off here, all right, with probably my favorite Dream Theater album, and we're continuing on through these 4 right here. So this is through Rhino Records, all right. As you can tell from the intro, this is all about Dream Theater this week. I wanted to do this earlier in the week. I received it, but life has a tendency to get in the way, and our cat Cupcake had to have an operation this week to remove some bladder stones, and that kind of sent the house into a little bit of a tizzy. Before we jump in, as I always say, thank you for coming each and every week, checking out the channel. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe. There's other Dream Theater videos on here as well as some other stuff that you probably would dig. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. Drop a comment, click like, subscribe. That's what it's all about, building up the base, so to speak. So we're going to take a look at the second chapter of Dream Theater with their latest box set entitled Volume 2, appropriately. And we have on the back, pretty simple, just the same as last one. This is mimicking the systematic chaos period, which is where we end up when this box set is done. And typical construction, pretty good, pretty well-made box set. Nothing really terribly fancy, but it's great to have this stuff back on vinyl. So we have 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. I got to see them on this tour. And this is, on the back, you've got the, I'll be honest with you, this is probably my least favorite as far as artwork goes for Dream Theater. Never really did anything for me, but has some great tracks on it. It is a double album, comes in a gatefold sleeve, and you see all the boys in the band there, as well as some information on what they play. Real deal information is right here on this insert, okay, with your lyrics on the back of that sheet. All the vinyl in the collection is basic black. I believe this is limited to 2,500 sets, although they are not numbered. So for this, the labels are the album title. Pretty standard heavyweight black vinyl, very, very nice. And I'm a Dream Theater fan, always have been. I guess they were going through their Metallica load era at this point with some of the guys getting short haircuts. Mr. Portnoy, don't shoot me. And what do we have on this album, right? So you have the other slab of vinyl, which looks exactly the same. Nothing spectacular here. Once again, mimicking the album title there with 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. And it kicks off with probably the strongest track on the album, The Glass Prison. Then you have Blind Faith. Then on side 2, you have Misunderstood, and probably the other strongest track, probably the most controversial track. Dream Theater was never a band to get very political, but they did do the track The Great Debate, which is about stem cell research. Then you have Disappear, and then the remainder of sides 3 and 4. So the whole second album, basically with the exception of Disappear, is the 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence suite, parts 1 and 2. And The Test That Stumped Them All closes out side 3. That's probably the 3rd strongest track on this album. And then you have other songs on here as well, like on Solitary Shell, About to Crash, and then Losing Time in the grand finale. And this was actually produced by Petrucci and Portnoy. Good album, like I said. Not their best, not their worst, okay? So that's what we kick off with, because that's where we are at the period in time as far as these box sets released. So basically, if you think about it, they're going to have at least 2 more coming out. They seem to be doing it in groups of 4. I would hope that there'd be a 5th box set, and possibly even a 6th if they get that far, because I would like to see them do the live albums. They've had several live releases, and to group them accordingly would be fantastic, as well as the EPs like Change of Season. I've probably said this before as well. So next up, probably the heaviest album in their catalog, the very dark Train of Thought. Also a gatefold. Actually, no, this is a single, but it does have an insert. Okay. And it is a double album as well. Get 2 slabs of vinyl. Once again, lyrics and liner notes on the insert. And got the Dream Theater logo, or I should say the Majesty logo. Basic black vinyl there. And they still play a good number of songs from this in concert as well. I have the making of album, I believe, up on the listening wall over here of Train of Thought. Somewhere up here. Kicks off with the phenomenal As I Am. Then it has My Dying Soul. Endless Sacrifice, which I really dig. Honor Thy Father, which is another good track. Vacant. Stream of Consciousness, fantastic. And In the Name of God takes up all of side 4. So that is the second album in this set of Dream Theater re-releases. Okay. Then we go on to this masterpiece, Octavarium. Really cool artwork on this with the swinging balls, I would guess you could say, as well as the interior shot. And obviously gatefold sleeve, insert, lyrics, liner notes, a little more additional artwork. And this one, once again, following the same theme. Basic black, nothing spectacular to see there. But what's important is the music, right? And this has several good tracks on it. You have Root of All Evil, The Answer Lies Within, These Walls, I Walk Beside You, Panic Attack, which I love, Never Enough, Sacrifice Sons, and then the big Octavarium Suite, which is a whole album side, and it's fantastic. You got Someone Like Him, Medicate, The Awakening, Full Circle, Interviews, and closes out with The Razor's Edge. So this is the 8th album in the Dream Theater catalog, Octavarium. Almost done for the day. Do you believe this? Very economical episode this week on my channel. Finally, Systematic Chaos. And I didn't see them on the Train of Thought tour, but I did see them on the Octavarium tour and also on the Systematic Chaos tour. I don't know what happened why I didn't see them on the Train of Thought tour. Maybe I did. I have to go back and check my my Setlist FM. So, Systematic Chaos, another great album from Dream Theater. So it's a gatefold, and of course, why do I love this album and its artwork so much? It's covered in ants. Why wouldn't I like that? In addition to the vinyl, all right, we also have an insert. Okay, and it's the only one that actually has a booklet. All right. And we'll show you that as well. You've got the ants there. The pendulum from Octavarium. And what's better than skulls? There's nothing better than skulls. And you've got your lyrics and liner notes there. We'll show you the full cover right there on the back. Some phenomenal artwork as well. And then you have your vinyl, right? You've got the cracked glass from these mischievous little ants. Okay. And what does this one have on it as far as music goes? Well, this one has quite a bit of good stuff on it as well. We have on this In the Presence of Enemies Part 1, Forsaken, Constant Motion, which is phenomenal. I love Constant Motion, as well as Dark Eternal Night, Repentance, Prophets of War, The Ministry of Lost Souls, and The Presence of Enemies Part 2. So you have all that on the final installment of Part 2 of the Dream Theater box set. So that is everything as far as this goes, as the 40th anniversary for Dream Theater rolls on. Still disappointed to this day that I recommended to the club owners were in the nightclub I was working at as to who should we get into play. And I told them we should get Dream Theater into play. And, they're a local New York band and it'd be great. They're bringing a big crowd. They were just too expensive for the club. They didn't want to spend the cash. But, the rest is history. So it goes. So that is everything I have for you this week as far as music. Keeping it brief, just want to dedicate the episode just to Dream Theater. Once again, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Be sure to come back. There's always new stuff coming out. There's always old stuff to talk about. Love sharing my collection with everybody and talking tunes. As I always say, peace, one love, music. I'm out.